You know, the first time a patient of mine passed on, that was me for months, you know. I lost all sorts of momentum and confidence. So, in other words, what I'm saying is I realise that's a crucial part of it, and I attend to students' emotional needs as much as their intellectual needs as well. Yeah, yeah.
So I'd like to discuss another aspect of your professional life is your research work and your work in relation to provings.
Right.
So I know you've published a number of provings in paper format and also in electronic format.
Yep.
Can you run us through a little bit why provings and why the provings that you've actually chosen to do?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit just slightly broader than that, actually, and just to give it some context, for me, one of the things that is important to me is the realisation that our future in this profession is tied up with research. And you look around in this evidence-based world in which we live, and all of the evidence-based homeopathic research is out of my range. It's out of my reach. I don't have a degree in statistics. I can't do double-blind trials in, you know, this condition, testing this with this placebo group, because I don't have 500 rheumatoid arthritis patients to do that. But what I can do is the type of research that all homeopaths can do, and that's clinical audit. We can all provide a weight of evidence of our efficacy in practice. Especially around, you know, just every homeopath can do good extractions of their information of what goes on in their practice. So that's the first thing. And then the other really solid research that homeopaths can do and that we love to do is do provings. So I was introduced to doing proving work by both Misha and Jeremy in my training years and years ago. And I had, again, some really profound experiences. That was the first thing. Some solid, you know, weird things that went on having taken that little pill. So that was that. And then then my first contact with coordinating provings, if you like, was writing up one of Misha's provings that happened in New Zealand in 1993. And that was a proving of a native New Zealand tree. And so, you know, I got to grips with really wrestling with the material and how you work with a lot of information that comes out of the mouths of provers. So I put that together, and that's been available now for 15 years. And every couple of weeks, you know, I get an email from someone somewhere that's been using that remedy. And it's interesting how just information drips through over a decade or more, verifying aspects of a medicine, but not other aspects of a medicine. So that was the first one. And then, again, a bit of fortune, really. I through a colleague of mine in Australia, Peter Berryman, he got me a job working at a naturopathic college. And they said, well, we need to meet this competency in the regulations. We'll do a proving. And so I was on the spot. And then we launched into doing provings each year. You know, we had a bunch of students ready to go, and in terms of the medicines, Pearl, Sapphire were the first two, I remember. Then Moreton Bay Fig, which is a native Australian beautiful tree. Fantastic. Probably spent time under one of those as a kid. Then, you know, and then you really get to grips with the material and realise what you could do better or not. And of course, it's a teaching exercise. So I'm teaching proving methodology, and of course, then getting into, well, what could be better about this aspect of our science, and then realizing, well, hang on just a moment, well, what about shining the torch of 21st century methodology onto Hahnemannian provings, and really just seeing how solid they are actually, and then trying to, you know, especially through, say, Jeremy's work, Paul Hersky's work, Richard Pitt in California, and a few others that are into, I suppose, proving methodology, put together a really solid protocol that's ethical, so that we're not manipulating students, that is reliable, that comes out with good, solid primary symptoms as much as possible. So then the next solid one was white-tailed spider, which is a little spider in Australia and New Zealand that's a little evil thing and is a health hazard. And that was the first proving where we got verifiable case after case after case after case of nice results. Then we got into a little bit of Australian fauna, really, and you know, because Australia's full of critters. Box jellyfish, it's the most venomous creature on the planet, and in the sense of it'll kill you in seconds. And that was a memorable proving, just people freaking out and students losing the plot, male provers with erections that lasted for a week, you know, stuff. And over the years then, and then the focus changed for me, really I suppose because students kept asking me a question, and that was, if we've got hesitancy around Hahnemannian provings and the quality of them, given that there are no female provers, given that there was no blinding, given that there was no run-in or supervision as such, you know, those issues which often come up. Then we went on a program of reproving old, poorly proven remedies. So we came up with cactus, grandiflorus, cockroach, bufo, and bufo. Since then we've done bacillinum, tuberculinum, and mosquito was another one that we've reproven. In other words, attempting to verify what we think we know, using hopefully a tighter method. And then over the years a few others as well. More recently, tropical Australian Anacardiaceae, tartary, which has been interesting. Irukandji, a little jellyfish, again another killer. Medusa, we've done another proving of. And I think all up now there's about 20 of them. Yeah, so I don't know.
What was you have some initial result? How is the quality of Hahnemann provings compared with what you're finding?
Well, it's a little bit, you know, you've got to watch criticising Hahnemann. You cough a bit of flack. But it's just simply that there are some aspects of his provings. Nenning, I think, is an issue. Langhammer is another prover where we have many symptoms. Franz Vermeulen has talked to us over the years about Nenning and Langhammer and their influence and some of the symptoms they kept on coming out with in each proving, the same symptom over and over again. These aren't massive issues, but they just highlight that we could be tighter with our proving methodology. And of course there's the argument about the shop girls, you know, the fact that in some of Hahnemann's provings, Materia Medica Pura, there's a menstrual symptom. But of course it says in the introduction, I was helped in this proving by Stapf and Nenning and everyone else, and there's no women. So where did that symptom come from? And there's of course the idea that some of those supervisors had other provers who were taking the medicine. But again, just issues around how well were they supervised and all the rest of it. You can't shine a 21st century torch back on the past and say that it's wrong. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying that, well, why don't we just tidy up our act now? We have to. You know, we're copping too much flack from the evidence-based medical world to have shoddy methodology when it comes to our research. So, anyway, that's important to me. I like learning new things, love studying, and there's something about the experiment, you know, and doing provings which I like. Students love it, you know. It's the experiential part of homeopathy, and if you turn it into a learning exercise and make them do a lot of the assignments, they develop and learn a lot, I think.